everyone. I hope you are all well and safe and enjoying the wonderful weather the past couple of days. For those who don't know me, my name is Waheeda Akbarzai, and I'm a psychological well-being coach. As some of you or all of you might know a little bit about spirituality, I myself didn't know anything about spirituality that much before I got engaged with psychology. But during those past 5 or 6 years, I know a little bit about spirituality now. And I find it very interesting topic, to be honest, especially at this moment that we are all going through this global crisis. I think this topic has become more kind of topic that people want to explore and know more about it. So who can be better than Vivian Callegaro, who I think is a living example of a spiritual person. And she was my colleague during the master's at university. I found her very, very helpful, generous, pragmatic, and in those times, there were one period of time that she was going through some kind of problems that were really huge. But the way she was dealing with those problems were totally unbelievable, at least for me, because I'm a mother as well, and I know how difficult it is to be a single mom. And when there is that kind of problems, and you're studying and you are working, then it becomes extremely difficult. But the way she was dealing with it was amazing. So Vivian, can you tell us today what helped you? Was it spirituality? Was it positivity? Was it your personality? What was that you were dealing with all those problems with such a great courage, and you are always still smiling? What is the secret? What was the secret behind it? And tell us about spirituality, transcendence. What is it? You are the best person that can explain and can enlighten us more about it.
Oh, thank you. I feel super flattered about everything you said. I'm not an expert in spirituality. I just have my own experience. And well, where can I start? First, you ask, where do I get my strength, my resilience when there's problems, there's challenge? I think it could have come a little bit of my education, the way I've been raised, because my father as a psychiatrist, and then my mom, they always stimulated to focus in the positives since I was young. So this is something natural for me because it was my education. And there was this, including this book, Pollyanna, which is what's called the glam game, isn't it? So I was playing that when I was younger. So I think a little bit come from the way I was raised, and there were challenges in my life when I was young as well, and I always deal with in a way that there was hope. So I think having hope is essential for keeping resilient. So even a tragedy comes, you know that it's not forever, and I have always this feeling that something better will happen, and the tragedy is coming for a change, something that needs to go away, and something else will come in place. So I have this feeling with myself. This is my personal experience. Now, spirituality, to define spirituality, is something very broad. There has been in many religions and belief systems, and but can be broadly defined as a sense of connection with something higher than yourself. So this will be a broad definition. Of course, depending on religion, but depending on perspective, self experience, you can define it differently. Is linked to finding meaning and purpose in life. And this is things that we study in positive psychology. Positive psychology is the science of well-being, and is linked, well-being, spirituality is linked to well-being in the sense that the more spiritual you are, the more you use these tools, the more joy, more happiness you feel. So it's directly linked, positive psychology, well-being, and spirituality. It's one of the elements that we study in positive psychology. Actually, it's one of the highest, the top topics, because so far, spirituality wasn't an academic topic. It was seen like a mystical thing or something that did not belong to the academy. And positive psychology is the one that opened this little gap so that we can talk about it. And so it started talking about, we started talking about mindfulness, and then there was this techniques, love and kindness meditations, and then they developed this other things, which, I mean, it was there already from 5,000 years ago. It's not something new, spirituality. We've been practiced, because spirituality is something we can sense, we can feel, we can live. And it's not because people haven't been doing studies that wasn't there. It wasn't, we haven't been used these things. So, yeah, so spirituality, academically, there's a lot of studies, and I can mention a little bit of the academic, and then I can give you my personal experience. It provides awareness of the sacred, sense of comfort in the face of adversity, experience of transcending the ordinary to reach something fundamental. So this is academic jargons that we say when we're going to explain about spirituality. It's challenging to talk about spirituality because it was said from spiritual healers and spiritual people that's something that we don't express in language. It's something that we sense it doesn't come in words. It comes with energies and feelings. But we try. We are academics for that. We challenge the impossible. So let's do it. Let's do it at our best possible. For me, now, so this is the academic. The main thing is something, reaching something higher than yourself. Now, for me, spirituality is a connection between the heart and the universe. In my experience as a yoga teacher, in my practice, it's not an ending point, it's a transitional point. So we have, we're going to see later, I'm going to talk a bit about Maslow. We talk about self-actualization. I'm going to show the picture, then I'm going to talk about it, okay? It's like this. There's a climber there, because I like climber, that's fine. I'm going to tell you, so there's the bottom, and I'm going to tell you what's in the bottom, okay? So in the bottom of the pyramid is the physiological needs. They are basic needs for physical survival and motivate our behavior. Once these needs are satisfied, then we know for the second level, which is safety needs. And then they are satisfied, we go up, which is belonging, love, and love needs. Yeah. And then above that is esteem needs, self-esteem needs. So these were the 5 main things that Maslow created. And so they stayed there until 1945. But then when he was close to his, to die, close to the end of his life, he said, this is not enough, there's something else. And then he brought the concept of knowing and understanding aesthetic needs, and beyond that, his self-actualization, which is when you learn things for the sake of learning, because you have curiosity to learn and you need to learn. So self-actualization, you become absorbing a lot of knowledge. And then transcendence, which is above that. So the top of the pyramid of evolution is transcendence. And then Maslow put in the top of the pyramid that thing. So interesting is that in the childhood, we would develop more the physical needs. So food and protection and things like that. So when, in our childhood, when we are more like adults, then we have more about static needs and understanding. And then when we are in a mature adulthood, then we have transcendence and self-actualization. So yes.
Sorry,
We started the concepts of transcending and then talking about transcendence and all this next level of evolution. Yeah, you want to ask something? Go on.
Yeah,
I don't want to talk.
I wanted to ask about the last point that you mentioned, self-transcendence. I find this very intriguing, and I want to know more a little bit about the self-transcendence and spirituality and the connection between them. As you mentioned, for you in your practice, spirituality is kind of the connection between your heart and the universe. Is transcendence, where transcendence comes in that? What is transcendence and how can we reach that level?
Self-transcendence is decreases, there's a decrease in attachment. That's what they say about self-transcendence, to one's perspectives, views, and truths. And there's more care, compassion, and concern towards others. So it opposes to self-actualization. So self-actualization, when you do things for yourself and you want to be the best that you can be in yourself, and self-transcendence is when you concern about others. You give up something that's for yourself, egocentric, in the sake of others. So that's something higher. When successful self-transcenders achieve this level of transcendence, they often have peak experience. This is something interesting, peak experiences. They transform the individual ego, feeling intense joy, peace, well-being, and awareness of ultimate truth and the unity of all things. So they are the peak experience when you feel this joy, this peace, this well-being. And then you have plateau experience. Plateau experience, it happens when you are in this ecstasy, you're happy, but at the same time you become sad because some people cannot achieve this. And I experienced that myself, not from now, from early age. I was in this pursuit for developing my skills, and I think I was 21. I remember this experience. I'm not even going to the seaside with my family. They decide to go to the seaside, and I know that there would be like, social life and enjoying seaside. And I said, I don't want that. I don't want this anymore. I want to develop myself. So I stay in the city. I didn't go to the seaside. I knew it was going to be like London in the summer, that there's not much people. It's more quiet. And I had the swimming pool because it was a building with swimming pool, and I was swimming at my best. I was playing flute because I wanted to play an instrument and be very good in an instrument, and to sense art. I was reading books. I was watching films in English, and I was doing all the things that I thought that could help me to develop myself. But all of a sudden, I felt, but wait, where I'm going? Where is everyone? I felt lonely in that journey. And that's when I said, there's no meaning in this if I cannot bring people with me. Yeah. So I think in that point, that was maybe my first plateau experience, which I now identified by studying and reading that there is this thing. It was actually, this is Maslow. Maslow, which was this psychologist, very respected. It's not alive anymore. I think in the 70s. In the 70s, it's the last year that he was alive. His concept about that. So I had this, and I said, since then, I think I developed this desire for bringing everyone with me, which is something that guides me towards my choices in life. And I don't think anymore about can I be good at that. I use the things that I can be good at as ways of convincing more people that they can be at their best, and that we can enjoy a beautiful and a fantastic world, a beautiful world together. So basically, could be this plateau that he talks about. I sense this as if you feel lonely. If you just develop yourself, you kind of feel lonely. You don't want that. You want to share. You want to bring people there. And in my experience, I think that because I have this, we do the VIA questionnaire, which is the character strengths, which is shows your top character strengths, which helps you a lot to find your purpose in life and your meaning in life, because you have these things stronger in yourself. Anyone can do it and share with anybody. And one of these things is leadership. I have spirituality, I have leadership, and I think these two things combined maybe makes me the person who I am, which you sense in here. I have my students that don't let me lie there, that I want to bring everybody there. I don't want to just come and do my meditation as a lady. I want everyone to participate and bring that. So with combining my skills of leadership, I end up bringing people as much as I can to this stage, conducing them. Of course, everyone have their own journey and they have their own things that they can do. I cannot push, but I can help to tell them there is hope, there is this place there that we can all be. And some people will be there, will achieve that, and some will be on the journey of achieving that. So we can all be together in this spiral. By the way, talking about spiral, there is the broad and build theory from Fredrickson is very linked to spirituality. So it is about positive moments that we create. We can have a downward spiral, which is negative effects or negative experience, and bring you to not very good anxiety and all bad things, bad feelings. And then you can have an upward spiral, which is composed by little moments of happiness. That little moments of happiness keep on broadening and building, and then create a life of itself. So there is publications that link this broad and build theory from practice with spirituality. And I think my students won't let me lie. I can't wait for them to say something. I try to apply, because we study applied positive psychology. So I try to apply these things to what I do as a yoga teacher. So I thought it was a great opportunity for me to bring these concepts and combine what I do. So I created this meditation that I've been doing, and actually it's part of my master's. I created a technique. I did not create that. I was doing already. I just, like, when you're academic, you basically don't actually create things, you just study these things. So I studied something that I was doing before academically, and it was about this technique that combines embodiment, and then we go for the concept of Chin Lomas. Chin Lomas is he's fantastic. He was a Buddhist, 10 years Buddhist, very humble person. You talk to him, you don't believe all the knowledge he has. But he was a rock music player before, so you don't know his past as well. Anyway, that's the thing about develop yourself at your best. And then he wrote many books. I don't even know how many. And basically, he brings these concepts of Buddhism that he studied for more than 10 years to the academia in a very high level. He explains the unexplainable, let's say, and in a humble way. He always say, "Oh, interesting," and open and listening. It's amazing. It's fantastic. And he created this model, a life model, which is part of my studies that I applied in my yoga, and actually in my academic work. So life model, it comes from embodiment, which is the relationship with your body. It is expressed things that express from the mind that express it in your body. So because before it was neck up psychology. So psychology was just like, we can treat problems just talking to a person, sitting down and talking to a person, and we're gonna sort it out and don't care about anything related back, body down. But then they found out, no, it's not possible. You have to, the effects of the body affect the mind, and the mind affect the body. So one is dependent of the other. So they created this term called embodiment. So we do exercise, we do yoga, we do things that make you active, and then you can create well-being. Just walking, one of the experiences that we did at university was just walking 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. For me, it was a bit annoying because I don't want to just walk 10 minutes, you know. Because I do so much exercise, this is annoying. But anyway, it can have some counter effects as well. But most of the people, they said, oh, I feel better just for walking 10 minutes around the campus. So this is one thing. And yoga is a very fashionable thing. Everyone wants to do yoga, especially this crisis and stress. Yoga is a top product. So you have embodiment, and I put the sun salutation in my thing because I think it's easy for people to get it quick as a little sequence. And then there is this cognition and emotions and then cognition. So there's these levels. Comes from embodiment, then emotions and cognition, which I combine both because emotions, I'll put the positive emotions when people are relaxing and in contact with subconscious mind. So under the relaxation, it's called yoga nidra in terms of yoga, and it's called deep relaxation in terms of physiological terms. With that, then in the trance state of mind, then you can put input orders to your brain. It's the same principle for hypnosis, but we're not doing hypnosis because the person is saying to herself. If I was saying to you, that would be hypnosis, but I say things and then you keep repeating to yourself. So I'm not brainwashing you. So I suggest the things and you can say that, and then you keep saying. So then it's all positive things, and also in the right measure, because we cannot do that much that we fall asleep. There's principles on that. If you say more than 3 commands, that's what people fail sometimes in deep relaxation yoga nidra, because they say too much and the person just falls asleep. So they're not in trance anymore, they're in another wave. This relaxation, of course, relaxation is very beneficial for many things, but we're not doing this reprogramming of mind in a positive way. So you need to know how to do it. I train yoga teachers for that if you ever are interested. Selling my product. Anyway, so you go for that, and then you nourishing yourself with this positivity, this programming yourself to the best that you can be. So I use concepts of positive psychology when the person is there in deep relaxation. After that, so cognition, emotions, which is the third layer, and then comes self-awareness, which is I think I'm mixing. What's the next? Anyway, self-awareness. I think it's self-awareness is the other one. So awareness of yourself, and then so we have breathing exercise and then meditation. Okay, so the meditation will be for awareness plus. The top thing is awareness plus. That's most important. So awareness plus is spirituality transcendence. So when you're doing the meditation and people do different techniques of meditation, the most popular is mindfulness and loving kindness meditation from the Tibetans. Loving kindness meditation is the one that I use and fuse with the Broadenview theory of the spirals. So in my technique, what I do, I talk about loving kindness meditation, which is this thing about yourself, egocentric, and sociocentric, and wall-centric. So it goes from 3 levels. And there is loving kindness, you have to say, may I love these. There's a sentence you can say that, may I love myself, then the nature, then others. And you keep repeating that in many levels. And I do this thing, but I visualize also layers of energy, higher powers. And this thing nobody told me, something that I just sensed it, that's necessary, and I applied, and for me works, and I've been applying to my students. And although there's not much research in the thing, I think now we can even ask later, well, how do they feel about that? We can get some feedbacks. But I think that resonates with students because they keep saying that, I like it so much. And I think that maybe I'm driving. That's why I'm saying I might be driving them to something that's my experience. that leadership, that spirituality, a little bit that I have, I can influence people and bring them there. And this is a characteristic of healers. A master healer is the one that has used intention and has the power. And then comes quantum physics, is the possibility. So you have many possibilities in that can happen in terms of energy, in terms of matter. And matter it actually doesn't exist. That Einstein was saying that we can predict things, and then comes the quantum physics says no, we cannot predict. We can have a possibility, a probability, but we cannot predict. So there was a twist of concepts in quantum physics and physics. So so what do a healer does? He has the power of, because there's many possibilities that can happen, he has the power to decide you go into this possibility and drive the person to that possibility. So in between saying, okay, we're not going to have cancer and develop sick cells, you're going to go to the healing path, and then has the powers of convince that person or drive that person to that possibility. So this is something that master healers, they develop naturally or maybe intentionally. There is a wonderful book that's kind of a Bible for me. It's called Soul Medicine from Wilson Church. It's Wilson Church. I remember the surname Church because it's easy, but the first name I'm not quite sure. And he has all the miracles, techniques, medical schools, and all backed it up with science, with studies. And he found something that's common between all the ways that people get healed. And then he lists the things. And one of the things I remember is the intention, the power of intention. You have to put intentionality so we can guide people towards this. Oh, this is the way, the probability. From all the probabilities, this is the one that you're going to follow. Well, then comes, let's say, the biochemistry of enlightenment, let's say like that. In my courses, I also talk about nutrition, because, and then comes epigenetics. So what's epigenetics? So I start with epigenetics and I come back to this term. So epigenetics. So before, people believe that we are just that genetic code and we will behave according what we're born with the things, the characteristics, the genes, the codes. But then comes the new science and study, but wait, these genes, they change. Some express, some not, and they keep changing. So how much % does it happen with the environment and it's not fixed? And they study that, they found that 97% is environmental. We are constantly changing. And one of the things that make us change the gene expression is the food we eat. Zoe, you having fun with your food? I hope. So the food we eat, it's like chemicals, and they activate or deactivate genes. The thoughts, so there comes positive psychology. The belief and the thoughts that we have, they can change, and we call it brain surgery, positive psychology, because we're talking to a coach, and the coach is guiding you towards open new probabilities, new paths. When we have problems, anxiety, we block, and we can see only this one solution that doesn't work, usually doesn't work, and we're stuck there. So we have this feeling of getting stuck. And then when we come to positive psychology coach, if you have a trained coach, we have techniques that unstuck you. And then you start, oh, also this is possible, also this is possible. So we call it brain surgery, because it opens new neurons, new paths in your brain. Yes, so neuroepigenetics, epigenetics comes from this. And then, what was the second thing I was talking about? Food, okay. I kind of lost a bit while I started the thing, but you can maybe ask a question in the meantime while I'm thinking.
Thank you so much, Vivian. It looks like you are like an ocean of knowledge about all those things that are connected somehow with the spirituality.
That's my self-actualization, you know. I work hard to get there.
I think apart from self-actualization, you have touched upon self-transcendence as well, because of this yoga classes that you provide us. You know, this is as much as I understood from, and you mentioned that self-transcendence is like go beyond what you're doing for yourself, but do it for others, help others, prioritize other people's needs. So that's what you are doing at the moment, and you are providing these Zoom classes for us during this difficult time that we all have.
So much fun, by the way. I'm loving it.
If there is any link between religiosity and spirituality, are they two different things?
Good
or
point.
is it spirituality part of religiosity, or no, they are two totally different things, or connected somehow?
Yes, 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 yes. Yeah, they are connected for the search for the sacred. Yeah, so they both have the search for the sacred. That's the
Common
intersection between both of them. However, religion is something more social, and it's a group validation. There are different means and methods to for the search of this sacred. And the practices are related to God. So that's religion. Is more social, and there's means towards social means and methods to get there. While the spirituality is more subjective. It doesn't have the element. It has the element of search for the sacred. It doesn't have the element of group validation. So it's something more subjective, in my words. So it has the search, and it also was only the search for the sacred and self-transcendence in order to reach self-transcendence. Okay. What I think about, there's one point, interesting point that I said when I was looking for difference. There's many differences between religious and spirituality. There's a large list here, but one of the things that I thought would be interesting is that I saw a thing from Deepak Chopra website, and it says that there's a difference between fear and love in religion. So religion is more based in fear. It has the concepts of sin. I have to read because I haven't been raised as in religion. My mom, I'll tell you later what happened to my childhood. So I don't have concepts of religion. I have to read what they say here. There's undercurrent of fear woven into their teachings. The concepts of original sin, divine judgment, God's wrath, or eternal punishment can create a mental environment burden in worry and anxiety over your worthiness and whether your actions will result in divine retribution of karmic punishment. So I never had that because I haven't been raised in religious, but I remember my mom saying, actually, sorry, I haven't finished it. Your fate in the afterlife can loom like a specter in the back of your mind, subtly influence your thoughts and behavior. So this basically this things about fear. I'm not saying that all religion like that. This is one of the descriptions. Opposite to spirituality, which by contrast, spirituality typically discards the vestige of fear and worry in favor of more loving, compassionate approach to life and death. Spirituality embraces a consciousness based worldwide that supports all human beings on their path to awakening in unconditional love and kindness. Your choices and behavior are guided not by fear or punishment, but rather by a desire to end suffering and create a peaceful and loving world for all. So this is one of the, it was in Deepak Chopra's website, one of the writers, he's a book writer, he's a yoga teacher, and he wrote this. Possibly it could be something that comes from the Buddhism or something like that. But it's interesting, and but not saying that all religion like that. But what happened in my experience is that my mom, she was raised in a French Catholic environment. So although she lived in Brazil, there was a completely 100% French school, and she was there. She was with the nurse, it's called nurses, and the priest and the nurse, and sisters,
None.
nuns. Thank you, Zoe. So the nuns there, and they have this concept of sin. And because of that, she became extremely repressed in her things. And it was like, she didn't want that for their child. So when she raised me and my brother and my sister, she said, I'm going to baptize them, but I'm not going to bring them to church. I'm not going to make them practice the thing. I'm going to just let them free. And this happened to me. It doesn't mean that I don't have spirituality. I just develop a natural spirituality. I believe in something higher than myself. I have all these things. I just have no idea, what clue what's in the Bible. I mean, my son knows more than me than the Bible, because then it happens the other way around. I put him in a Catholic school. I made him learn the concepts. I said, you're not going to be an ignorant like me that doesn't know the things. So all the way around. But now he's not in Catholic school anymore. He studied other religions, and he become an extremely wise boy, because he can talk about anything, any religion. He knows something. He has his own opinion, and he's open to he never criticizes, not judgmental. He's a wise boy. I think he inherited a little bit of what I learned on top of what I was providing to him, and he became with his own concept of spirituality, which is actually, he plays with me, Mom, the positive, I'm the negative psychologist. So he challenged me. Everything that I say positive, he proves me that negative is more effective. So it can happen, yeah, the other way around. The generations keep changing. Yeah, so also there is this research about the 200 people who have been researched, and they put in groups, in 4 groups, one with more spirituality and less religion, and 4 groups, different groups with different levels of, one more spiritual, one more religious. And what happened is, people that have less spirituality and more practice of religion itself, they become with lower levels of well-being. People that have more spirituality in whatever, they become more, they have more higher levels of well-being. So religion without spirituality, they coin a term that's called empty religions, because it brought people to, unfortunately, for not a very good well-being. So I don't want to bring these discussions here. There's different opinions and religions and everything, but they had this research, and there was different religions included, different groups of religions included, and this came out. So I think I'm kind of approve of that, because if you introduce the thing here, saying that I think I'm a spiritual person, I have no idea, I just do my thing. So maybe it works. Maybe spirituality can be produced without being a religious person, without this practice. So it happened to me. I think that's it. I'm going to wrap up and let anyone want to ask something? I can see Anu on the screen there.
Yeah, Krish, I think Krish wants to ask something.
Yeah, I was trying to understand.
Hello.
Hello. First of all, I would like to mention what Waheeda was saying. You are like an ocean of knowledge which we never knew, and you have been, and also did a lot of research and preparation, which I truly appreciate. It's been a lot of information. Please do not edit anything. We would like to listen to this again and again.
I have 20 pages here prepared. I can send you, no problem.
It's
was edited for
a lot of important and what is it called? It's a lot of important information. Nothing can be missed out. So we would like to listen peacefully again and again, so to absorb it, because we cannot absorb it at once. Okay. The question I have is about, we just talked about religion and spirituality. I'm just trying to understand the relation between spirituality and no belief in God or whatever. I mean, it can be called atheism, or it can be agnosticism, or whatever it is. So how do we relate those concepts to spirituality, and how do we kind of relate, and how do we put it? Yeah. Non-relate.
Good question. Good question, because I prepared something, and it's actually related to your place, which is India, it's related to yoga. And I said, I'm not going to mention that. I'm going to be too yogi. But now you ask me, I'm going to talk about it. That is took actually this separation of spirituality and religion was all tangled. I mean, this says the academia. They said that in 1900, then, not center, 1900? I'll say yeah, you understand, yeah, 1900. So this, they start talking, because it was end of the century, they start talking about the split of spirituality and religion. However, the line of yoga that I do is Samkhya school. So Samkhya school has already this concept of
what is that school again? I couldn't get it.
Samkhya.
Yeah, we talked about it earlier.
Philosophy. Yeah, it comes from the books of the sacred books of India. So Samkhya, they had this thing that they don't deny God, but they don't need God to explain things, phenomena. For example, a thunder will fall, and there was this school which is Vedanta, opposite to Samkhya. Vedanta is the one that attributes to divinities. So a thunder fall, oh, the gods are angry with us, that's why the thunder happened. And Samkhya was what I believe more close to science, because they explain things. Oh, it's because of the phenomenon of the hot cloud that encountered the other one, and then this phenomenon happened. So they explain things without having to make reference to divinities. So they don't say it doesn't exist. They don't question this. It does no God or there's God. It's different than being atheist. Or there's a term here called Nastika, atheist in I think it's Indo.
Yeah, Nastika means who doesn't believe in God is Nastik. Astik is who believes in God.
There you go. I was gonna say that. So Nastika, atheist, and Astika without the N would be believer. It says here, believer. So, but it's not. So Samkhya was not, the opposite was not being denied, atheist. It's just say no Lord. We don't talk about Lord. We don't need that. So there was already a difference of religions and spirituality from that time. It doesn't. I don't believe that it came only in the 1900s. I believe that was from because yoga from India that I studied, that I have records, it's more than 5,000 years ago. And then it moved, moved to Tibet and all these things, the other lives. But the old one was from India. And they have this pure Samkhya that was there, and they were talking about this thing. Your question, just I don't want to run away from your question. What was your question in the beginning, Rama? You asked about?
Yeah, how do we correlate or not the spirituality and Nastic is Nastic, meaning the atheism or non-existence of God. I mean, how do we relate these two?
Interesting. Nowadays, you mean? You want to say in the concept, because this minute that's a broad topic here.
My question, maybe let me try to elaborate a little bit. When we say spirituality itself, it is something which is, as you initially mentioned, it is going beyond yourself or your soul and connecting it to something unknown, right? Whereas atheism or agnosticism is where you do not know there is an unknown. You do not believe in, or you do not know there is an unknown. So how do you then relate this kind of spirituality where you are assuming something, but on the other side, you do not know whether there is something? So that is the kind of confusion I have sometimes.
So you're talking about how the atheists achieve spirituality, maybe. Is that more or less like this?
Yeah, how Gnostic people relate to spirituality, like people who do not believe that there is
exactly. Yeah. So
well, I might be Gnostic because I don't have the concepts of God and this. I have to be honest. I have to Google God. What's the meaning of God? I said, what do people mean with God? You know, I don't know. So I look for God. I Googled. Yeah, because now we have the God for me is Google. We find everything there. Anyway, so I found that God is something more universal. There's a lot of interpretations of God depending but it means something higher, some higher power. And I question this actually because I don't know what higher power people are talking about. I just know that we can evolve. You know, in my experience, I know that we can evolve, and I don't even believe that this is the ending point of the part that I already achieved, which they say transcendence is. How come? Because Maslow, in the end of his life, he said, no, it's not just 5 levels, there's other 2 levels. I believe maybe it's endless. Maybe you're going to continue finding more and more things, you know. I already had an insight here because my mom recently passed, and I've been, of course, more sensitive to this thing since she passed. And I question where she is, and I try to see, are you okay? And when you meditate, you try to have some kind of message of not communication, because I don't want to disturb wherever she is, but I want to know, where did you go? Are you okay? And things like that. And at first I thought, okay, first she's in the spiritual level. Okay. And then I spoke to a friend who was a spiritist, studied spiritist, and she said, you can't hold them here. It's not nice. They need to go for the whatever path they have to follow. And what happened is I couldn't see my mom in the spiritual level for me. She's gone. She was already in the transcendence. That was so quick for me to accept that she passed. There was no suffering. There was no attachment. I just accepted she moved to another level. So she was, because she was like philosopher, psychology, she wrote books, she was married as a psychiatrist, she had 3 children. I mean, she achieved everything she had to achieve, you know. She was a good person. So I think she was a very evolved person. And she went quick. They say that there's evolved people, they went quick. So there was no holding back. But I said, okay, so you there, you in that. Well, every time I was doing this meditation with people here, I was thinking, okay, mom is there in this place. When I transcend, I know that she's in this space. And it was a bit foggy for me, because it became her space. It didn't become more my connection with the universe. It became a place where mom is. And I was kind of like blocked and limited to know, okay, that's the place where my mom is. And then recently I thought I had this insight, and I felt that she was going to move. We had kind of a communication, and she moved to something else. So I believe there's something beyond that, and come to me the beauty and match with something that an old man, 84, he told me. Once I asked him, where is God for you? He said, God is in the flowers, it's in the beauty. I said, wow, I never pay attention to flowers. I was never much into the, is this the meaning of flowers? I got there. And then I said, well, maybe my mom is transforming into the beauty now. She's not in this transcendental thing anymore. She become a union with the beauty of the universe. And I think that's what came in my experience. It's not science. This is not positive psychology. I didn't smoke ganja or anything. I'm just telling my experience. Okay? And then I saw that my mom, and now I am in the, I look for one flower, and I have this image in my mind, and I found one flower, beautiful flower, and it's called redunculus. It's like a rose, but there's lots of layers, It's very, very colorful. And I am about to buy this redunculus and put in my balcony, because I think that represents like where my mom is now, you know. So this is my experience. This is my little nut out of the box thing that happened to me. So I believe that transcendence is not ending. Maybe there's something beyond, and then beyond, and then beyond, and then beyond. We can grow, and we can achieve that. And sometimes we're just gonna know by experience. When we experience that, sometimes we're gonna sense these things. I think it varies, and it's not science that's gonna limit us for that. It's not, because I have a bit of conflict with science. My father is a scientist. He proves he believes that science protects people from saying what's the term, like mystical. In the past, there was a lot of mystical charlatans, like people that would lie to you, because this is the spirit, or the spirit said to me, and then they would cheat on people. So science came to make to separate things. What is true from, there's a method that came to what is true from what is fake news, let's say like that. So that's his concept. However, nowadays, everything's fake news, you know, we're lost in science. But anyway, when I teach my yoga teacher training, before studying positive psychology, before studying medical physiology and all the going to the science, that I thought, okay, I have to study science because, you know, it's my father say that that's a good thing. So I was trying to push everything to science with my yoga. And I was trying to explain people, oh, we need to use science, we need to use science. But what happens is we have the intuition. Intuition is faster than the speed of light. And science, the method, scientific method started like 500 years ago or something like that. Science has no more than 500 years ago. Intuition was used since 5,000 years ago. And it's faster than the speed of light. So how can we match this thing? How can we say that only what science recognizes the things that exist? It slows down. Actually, science is good, but it's very slow. Intuition is much faster. So what I teach in my course was that we need to find the balance between the things that we can learn by intuition and the things that we can prove with good, positive, truthful science, reliable science. We need to match these things, but we cannot. We have to trust intuition because this is the faster thing. And science cannot cope with that. They're trying to study spirituality, they're trying to study, I think it's very good, but we have much more that we cannot just rely on science to know things, and we have to trust our own experience or practice. Bunny?
Okay, so what you talked about just now has given me another question. And so you talked about your conflict between science and spirituality. Well, I wanted to ask how spirituality can sort of work in harmony with religion, because my parents don't see spirituality as something that should be part of their religion, Christianity, and that's just their point of view. And from my experience, it looks like spirituality does oppose religion in many ways. And they see spirituality as something perhaps harmful because it's not mentioned very often in the Bible. But I just wanted, like, you know, your take on it.
Thank you. You're teaching me things that I didn't know. Because I have no knowledge of the Bible, I didn't know this. So they don't talk about spirituality. It depends on what they experience or what the concept of spirituality. Because they have, like I said, many religions, they have different concepts, and maybe they're talking about this idea of spirit, of people that die and they hunt you. I don't know. Maybe this is what they think. Oh, this is bad, because there are let's say, because I'm very curious, because it's my area, I've been through. I was open to listen from many sources about this. And I have one friend. She's studies spiritism, and of course she knows how to communicate with spirits and all these things. Which psychiatry would say, oh, you're hallucinating, you're having you have schizophrenic and you seeing things and there's no spirits and stuff. So there's different interpretations of these things. But I listen to the things. And they say that there are, not all spirits are bad. So spirit is when we die, we have this clouds that goes to another dimension, goes towards God. Let's say God is universal, I can say God. And what happens is some spirits, they are unsorted and they are confused, and we see that in films and things. I don't know if it comes from films or from illusion, but it comes from so many sources, the same idea that maybe there's some truth in the fire, you know, where the smoke is fire, that they are unsorted, and they don't know actually that they should go, they lost the direction. And I read in one book that was what's missing in medicine. Ian was telling about this experience with spirituality. There's this doctor that study brain and neuroscientist, and he went to South America to study something. I think it's what's the name, Peru or something like that. And his colleague was cutting a brain. He said, watch this one. I'm going to cut this fresh brain here from a lady. And he cut the slice. He said, can I have a little piece of this brain for me to study? And he said, yeah, of course. Put in a slide and you can make your study. And he was going to visit a shaman, Sahila, to make a research about, because it was part of his research. What happens is the next day, he got his bag and he went to visit the guy. And then when he came to the shaman said, wait, you have someone with you. And he said, no, I don't. I'm just by myself. No, you brought someone. And the person is this. And he described the lady that has the brain. Yeah, the lady, exactly what she did, the profile. Blah, blah, blah. She said, she's with you, but don't worry. Don't be scared. She knew you're going to bring you. Oh, I'm getting goosebumps. When I talk about the stories and there's something about it, I get goosebumps. Anyway, so she said, she knew you're going to bring her to me so I can help her. So basically what he did a ceremony to guide her towards the place that she needed to go. Because what happens and there's a lot of therapies involved in this kind of spiritual healings. What happens is, in one explanation is that some spirits, they are hungry spirits. They can't find the way that they have to go. So they end up here, they attach to bodies. They don't have bodies. And they attach to bodies. I'm not saying this is true. It's something I heard and I study and I just listen, yeah? They attach to bodies because they don't have a body. They're not in the material dimension. And my friend keeps saying, so if you smoke, if you drink, you're attracting this kind of vibration, this kind of spirits, things that we cannot see, but they're there. If you're a good person or not, you might attract. But usually good people, they go fast to the other. They are not tormented. So they call hungry spirits. So maybe that's why your parents are talking. They heard about something about it. And they don't want you to be connected to these energies, which is the hungry spirits and this unstable spirits that can cause you harm, actually. So there is this kind of therapies where they clean your energy. You know, what belongs to you goes away, what's yours to stay. And this I saw in positive psychology as well. They say everyone has an energy, and you have to know what's your energy, what belongs to others. Tibetans, they have the same thing. They have this protection about energies. Because spirits and things, they are energy that we cannot see, but they exist. They shouldn't be in this dimension. They shouldn't be with us. They should go peacefully to the other dimension. But sometimes it happens that they get lost for some reason. Suicidals, for example, is very sad. They say that they keep repeating the things and it's very bad. So that's why I heard about it. I'm not saying that it is, because I wouldn't be a scientist if I say so. So maybe, depending on the interpretation, maybe your parents have some kind of information or some kind of interpretation that is about protection. It depends on the concept that they have about the person. So I don't judge them. I don't actually know much about you saying, the Bible says. It's new for me. You're teaching me that the Bible doesn't talk about spirits. So wow, I have to study the Bible. Maybe I'll talk to my son about it.
Can I add something on that subject? I don't know if I'm no expert on the subject, but certainly what I think I know is around how Christianity sort of took over from the religions and the spirituality systems that existed, certainly in places like the UK and probably Europe and that were more pagan, that were much more sort of openly spiritual in their practices. And a lot of the Christian churches actually exist on pagan ritual sites. And so, because my mum was Catholic too, is Catholic, and she would also be quite uncomfortable talking about anything to do with other systems of belief or the occult or things like that would all get attributed the same way. And I think it has something to do with perhaps the way that Christianity has taken the place of the kind of pagan systems of belief that existed here prior to that. And I imagine in order to indoctrinate those people, they would have put a very negative spin on perhaps other spiritual belief systems.
Interesting. So you've been raised by a Catholic mom that doesn't talk about spirits.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good.
I think there is one advantage. At least she hasn't heard about all those horrible stories that we were told when we were a child. That what a bad spirit can do to you. Oh my God.
The fear thing, isn't it? It's the fear that Shubha was talking about.
Saying that one of your friends can talk to spirits, something like that you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, because they have spiritism was something that's Allan Kardec was French. He started and he wrote this book about the spirits, the Book of Spirits. And basically he was transcribing things that didn't belong. He was a tool for getting messages from the spirits. And there was a lot of teachings and things there. I saw the book because she sent it to me. I haven't read. And he was a doctor. So what happens in the time of the Inquisition, the witches, they said, this is all witch thing, let's burn it. And they burned all the books and all the things. What happened is some of these books went to Brazil. So my friend, she's Brazilian, and she studied because his father is a doctor as well, and he was a spiritist. Although they classify him as bordering schizophrenia, you know, because of these things, he could see things and hear things, so they put him as no. He was studying medicine. They said, no, you have to go. You good, you pass, but go, please. You're disturbing the class here, because they couldn't accept these things. Yeah, so there is this practice in spiritism that they, I think they receive messages, you know, and then they transcribe things or they listen but it's all the intent of this line, at least that she's participating, is to help others. It's not on the service, all free. They don't charge money. It's all for bringing peace to others and being service of others. Because she told me once that one of the concepts is that the more you, then comes the sin thing, yeah. So the more you have been bad in another life, more you have to serve in this life. Which I got frustrated. I got very frustrated with that because I feel guilty for helping others. I don't want to show that I was bad in life, my other life, because then I'm showing that I'm bad if I help people. So I didn't like to know that thing. Anyway,
yeah,
that's
the
horrible.
concept of Hindu Dharma as well.
Yeah. So certain things might be a bit controlling, you know. We have to know what's true, what's not. So can have something good and then can be something more opportunist in the middle, a mix. So yeah, we have to always use our intuition and our beliefs, our experience. So what I do, some things resonate with me, I go and get it for myself. Some things nah, this is not true. This is not my truth. Maybe true for somebody else. That's what I do. Yeah. Why, you want to talk to any spirit?
Me?
Yeah.
No. I was just wondering if somebody knows from some of your friends knows how to talk to spirits, I would like to meet them.
Okay, I'll introduce you. My bow can talk to spirits. And I stopped. I haven't been using my bow since.
Yeah, but
my
by
mom
the way,
passed. I respect that. I'm not talking about
It's confusing. Maybe it's confusing for all of us.
It is. I have to Google. I said, what are you going to say about spirituality to have a concept wrapped up to say this is spirituality is extremely challenging. I even texted Waheeda. I said, Waheeda, your first question, what's spirituality? I still don't make up my mind what I'm going to say about that. And I have already wrote my 20 pages here. It was the hardest question, to be honest. But yeah, basically something higher than yourself, in a most simple, broad way that we can say. And also what he does say is something really simple. But there's this thing saying about, just to wrap up, I'm sorry to have written you a long letter. I didn't have time to write you a short one. So the simple thing sometimes is harder for us to do.
Yeah.
Why the wisdom is in the very little things and the simplicity of the things.
Exactly. But no, we got a lot out of this conversation. Maybe there are some things that we can go and search for it, try to find out more about it. There were some interesting comments you made about epigenetic.
Oh, definitely.
genetic, and how nutrition and environment can change the expression of those genes. I mean, it's very interesting.
Come to the
I'm
courses
going
of
to
each
change my diet to enhance my genes.
I have a course about that.
Thank you to both of you. Thank you to both of you and to everybody else.
Thank
Thank you.
Thank you for being.
Bye.
You make me transcend.
Bye bye.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaskaram.